everybody, and welcome to Tuesday's Live. I hope you all are having a great day wherever you are. I am joined today by a guest, which is actually kind of special for me because then I get to ask lots of questions and learn lots, and so do all of you. And so you can ask your questions in the comments as well. Abby is here with us, kind of monitoring those questions. And so when we do these behind the scenes, we know you have questions. So I'm going to let Kaitlyn introduce herself and tell you how long she's been with Stampin' Up. She's got a great story, actually.
My name is Kaitlyn. I'm a senior product designer. I've been working at Stampin' Up for nearly 10 years.
Which I can't believe.
Yeah, we were just talking about it before, and it's crazy that it's already been 10 years. But I would also say Stampin' Up has been a part of my life for literally as long as I can remember. I grew up with Stampin' Up, and Stampin' Up was my dream job coming out of high school and college, and have been here basically ever since.
Which I love this because I think I met Kaitlyn the first time when she was
like
15,
16,
We were kind of gauging timing. Yeah. And she said, I'm gonna come work for Stampin' Up. I'm gonna come work for you. And she did in a couple of different positions, and now she's settled, and she has designed this beautiful Floral Impressions product suite. So we've got this sitting here. I want to point out the stamp set, and you can add some commentary in this as well, kind of what your process is. But we've got the dies and the stamp set. So this is the bundle.
Yes.
So talk to me a little bit about that. You've got a two-step kind of.
Yeah. So some background on the whole suite. It came from this trend we were seeing of pressed flowers inside of really delicate gold frames. And so that's like a key part of our die here is this border die that's supposed to kind of mimic that delicate gold frame if you cut it out of gold foil. So that's where a lot of this started.
I'll show you up close too. Let's try this.
So the flowers too, like the reason I designed them overhead is because like if it's pressed flowers, then you're seeing them flattened versus from the side, like a profile view of it as well. And then yes, it's two-step, which I think is really great, again, with going back to pressed flowers, because you get the dimension that happens in pressed flowers.
This is a little bit different. I noticed that you've got some line in with kind of that variated tone, which is cool.
Yeah, so it gives it a little bit more detail versus like it just being a watercolor wash or something to that effect as well. Yeah,
I didn't notice this the first time either, but you have the detail portion of the die and then the cutting out the actual flower.
That's probably the favorite part.
Nest, right?
They nest. So these are the open dies that work with the stamp images, but then you can get double use by using this piece that's nested with it to create detailed dies as well. And that's one of my favorite features of this bundle. I've already been seeing tons of people using the detailed die version of it, and like everything is incredible with it.
It's so pretty. I know we have some samples here. We'll get to those in just a minute, but I wanted to be able to show you those details and get kind of that behind the scenes look with Kaitlyn. Let's talk a little bit about the accessories. I'm going to go there, and we'll end on designer series paper. Sound good?
Yeah, that's the star, so let's end there.
Did you start with the paper or start with the stamp
I started
set?
with the bundle.
Okay, so you've got the bundle, then the
first.
paper.
Yeah.
This is an embossing folder. We were just discussing if we thought we could do this directionally or not. So, like, would we do it on the side of a card or
I feel like you could
the top
use
of
it
the card?
Any direction. And the embossing folder came from, we were seeing some, like, inspiration in pottery of people, like, pressing flowers into pottery and removing it. So, like, I actually intended this design to be used on the debossed side versus embossed.
Oh, okay,
so that you get
good
that,
to
like,
know.
Again, a pressed effect, but in a slightly different way than just, like, pressed flowers.
Okay, I love knowing that because now that you say that, I totally am seeing that in my feed. So it must be, we're trending.
Other people are seeing,
Kaitlyn's designs are trending.
That's the goal.
And we all get to work with them. We get to use your amazing skills and talents in our own artwork. Totally. I'm going to kind of go lightly over this stuff. And then we'll get to, let me make sure I'm getting to the right camera. Here we go. Okay, so these are detailed labels. What I love about these is that they nest as well. And then, of course, the strawberry slush and pretty and pink gems. But did you design this as well, like shapes, or does this kind of come separately?
Nope, I designed the labels and
they
frames
all go together
as well. It all goes together. These are dots, so I didn't design them. It was more helping pick color and things like that.
Okay.
But the labels and frames, again, going back to the trend of pressed flowers and gold frames, like that's where that was coming from.
Well, and you can use both, frames. Right?
Yeah, and then you get the bonus of this piece that comes out of this natural center, because you want to make a frame that you can use as labels. And so the stamp sentiments and flowers and stuff will fit in a lot of these as well.
Well, and I like that there are some big ones. I'm going to pull these over here just so that I can kind of flip through these pages. But there are some big ones too.
Yes. So you can do like a whole card front.
Yes, which I was so excited about. I saw the smaller ones and I thought, oh, that's going to be fun. And then I was like, wait a minute.
The full card front ones are really fun.
Yes. Yeah. And especially some of these with the arches in the corners. So you're going to love those.
Yeah. And literally every shape you're seeing, and there's both the frame and the label.
Yeah. The double layer. It's like a two for one.
Yep. A ton of pieces.
And of course, all of you amazing people that decide to use these as stencils as well when you're blending and masking. Okay, let's dive into the designer series paper, because this is kind of the behind the scenes part that I wanted all of you to be able to see and for Kaitlyn to talk through. But we've got these beautiful, as she said, pressed flowers. You can see some of the art is mimicked from the stamp set. You've got your more basic
Gotta have your
patterns.
basics.
Yeah, you've got your hero. Is this your favorite?
That one's my favorite. Yeah,
this one's my favorite too.
I love anything that's spectrum, so that one's really got my heart.
And so when you're creating this, you're taking some of the work that you've done on some of the other pieces, which you will see in just a minute.
So if you pay really close attention, you'll notice that some of the flowers are the same across it, and that's because I pulled from these sheets to be able to create the spectrum.
One. Okay.
Yeah, versus creating all new art. Like a little time-saving trick was to like do some photoshopping.
Leverage the amazing art you've already done.
Yeah.
I love this. I like that there's a contrast in colors of green on this one too, and a pattern that you could cut at a diagonal, a natural diagonal.
Yeah.
So, did you have a favorite new background?
I always
that you are drawn to,
like pool parties, like one of my favorite colors. So I gravitate towards that a lot, and it's got a really cute, different take on a dot, which is always super
like a
usable.
Polka dotted dot.
A polka dotted dot. So that one I definitely draw to.
These jewel tones are super pretty. So do you get to pick color scheme in this as well?
And so like something I was noticing in like the pressed flowers I was looking at as reference was there was like people doing very monochromatic color palettes and then very like spectrum. So that's why like the very like pink and purple, the very like green, and then a couple that are a little bit more whole rainbow. So that was very like intentional.
I hope all of you are loving this designer series paper as well. It might be one of your favorites. But let's take a look at some of the original art. I'm going to have Kaitlyn pull in so that she can talk through kind of her process. So take a look at this full sheet. I feel like this should be framed on a wall somewhere.
Exactly like this, because I feel like the negative space really like makes it feel like high-end art. Which it is. Yeah, so I did everything really big because it's easier to then go smaller versus if I start small and then try to go bigger.
Okay.
So that was, again,
details.
intentional. Yeah. And then if it's bigger too, I can be like super duper loose with it all, and it doesn't have to be perfect.
I don't know if you can see this, but they're not just watercolored on this sheet. They're actually die cut out, and then layered. So I don't know.
It might be hard to see on camera.
Oh, there we go.
But yeah, so we've done pressed flower product before where we used real pressed flowers and photographed it. So we wanted to do a different take on this one, and the solution I came to was cutting all of the flowers and leaves and stuff from watercolor paper. And that was important because it gives it a little bit of depth and a little bit of shadow when it was photographed. So it looks like...
Well, you have that texture there.
So it looks like it's coming off the page and it's not just like flat. So I cut everything out of watercolor paper, and then I just slopped some color on it.
Just slopped some color. She makes it sound like it was no big deal.
Yeah, because once it's die cut, I could just be like really like messy and just like, oh, I'm just going to cover this whole area in green, cover this whole area in blue. And then I'd go back and add some more of the detail and some more of the depth and things like that. But I really enjoyed the part where I was just like, some green here.
So how long in general does it let's grab another one. How long in general does it take to create a designer series paper?
We usually are given 4 weeks.
Okay.
To work
on
on
a lot
one.
of hand done
Yeah.
art. It takes some
Yeah.
time. It is artisan, as they say.
And it can totally depend on the paper. This one I might have had a little bit more time because it was pretty involved with all of the pieces and all of the...
Yeah,
I had some back and forth between my computer and then the actual art of just like figuring out, because this is the pattern swatches that then became the paper. So these like perfectly tile in a probably not a super obvious way. I think like this flower comes like this flower like repeats down here, and that's how my like repeat happens. So I did a lot of like figuring out the pattern repeat so I could then make this and not have to do any extra work after I like finished it.
So you're just doing all the prep work ahead of time so that it worked and pieced together like a puzzle.
Yeah, exactly.
And you wouldn't even be able to tell looking at
No.
the designer series paper. So it's kind of cool to see those side by side.
Kaitlyn, a lot of love in the chat of saying how amazing these designs are and how talented you are.
She is talented and it is amazing. I will echo. Do you ever get tired of this?
No.
What's she gonna say on camera? No. She's been here, like she said, for 10 years, which I am like, how has it been that long?
Yeah, and it's like sometimes I end up doing more designs that's based in my computer. So then when I get an assignment like this, it's really fun to like step away from my computer and use my hands and more analog techniques. And so I love that I get to like step away and like play with paints and things like that as well.
Some artistic time.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to pull this one over.
We had a question about the bundle. Was there something specific that gave you inspiration for the bundle?
There wasn't any specific inspiration on the bundle.
I mean, other than the pressed flowers and gold frames that you're seeing everywhere.
And my goal was to like kind of bring in, can we pull in the stamp set?
Yeah,
I'll kind of
let's
talk
do.
a little bit more.
There you go.
So my goal was, I'll come up to this close guy up here. You can kind of see with how the dies are laid out. I wanted like 3 flowers that you could arrange nicely in like a frame situation. So that's what I was trying to do. Like that was kind of like my goal I was keeping in mind.
So you can see it there on that sample too, how nicely they go together.
Here, you can see like 3 fit inside the frame. So that's something I was keeping in mind as I was designing. I want 3 flowers in the, yeah. And then this is a different way of doing
I was going to say, I don't know that we have like all 3 of the flowers on a card. We should do that. They're all a little different. Yeah. But, I mean, this is amazing. Look at the scale and size to create a designer series paper. I think it's awesome.
These little, like, hydrangea buds are one of my favorites, too. They're so cute. And then we've just got one more.
And then there was another question if the paper was created before the stamps or after.
After.
Stamp set first, usually. Usually, okay.
Depends on what our like timelines are, because like things take different production times and things like that. More often lately, we're able to kind of do everything at once, which is really, really nice. But I think in this case, bundle came before the DSP. And which is nice about that is you'll see that there are the same floral shapes in the stamp set as well as in the DSP. There's some like crossover in that.
I love the coordination of this, and I love. Roseanne says that she's created 5 different cards in one scrapbook layout with this suite. She
nice,
loves
I love
it.
that. Yeah, good. I love seeing what everybody creates with the things I design. That's one of my favorite things for sure.
What you may not know about Kaitlyn is that she's also a crafter, and so she was a concept artist as well.
Yes.
And so I asked her before, so I'm going to ask you again. When you just mentioned that you loved seeing what everyone does with the products that you create, do you ever kind of go, okay, no one's really using it the way that I intended.
Yeah,
like,
let me do
love
it.
me at it.
Yeah, for sure. I will definitely like play with my own product to be like, this is how I envisioned it. This is what I wanted. But our concept art team is amazing. They do a really good job of showcasing what we design. And we also work really closely with concept art while we're designing product. So they are seeing the vision from the very beginning too, and like pull it through as well. But yeah, there's definitely times where I'm like, I need to make something because I have a vision and it needs to happen.
I love that. I can totally see that being the case.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to show you some other cards. I think I showed some of them a couple of Tuesdays ago, but there's some other samples here that I'll just share. I love this watercolor
Yeah.
look. This one's a fun technique
Spritzing
with
on
it. And then some of just the dyes.
And I also love that this one is like totally different color palette.
Yes.
From the Sweet. It's a much softer
I'll bring this
color
one in
palette.
too.
Yeah.
So do you have, like, if you were making your own card, what would a go-to color palette be for you? Would you stick with Sweet colors or would you mix it up a little bit? What's your style?
It depends. The Sweet has like every color in it practically, so I could do anything. It would still be Sweet colors. But there is something fun, like maybe less of like I have a vision, I need to do it exactly with the Sweet of like, oh, I want to be more creative. Then I'll go outside of the Sweet and pull in different colors and do different palette and things like that.
I saw the green designer series paper and I thought I need to make something with this and then add in a really bright pop of something.
Yeah,
that'd
be really fun. Yeah.
So I loved that, and then I think there was this one too, like the sunflower one, and I thought to myself this would be really cute. Like I'd want to modernize this one up and use a black and white.
Yeah.
It'd be fun with the sunflowers. So that's where my mind went. I'm like,
yeah.
oh, that's what I need to make with this one. So
totally.
Kind of cool. Do we have any other questions, Abby, or thoughts from those watching?
People saying so many different possibilities. A lot of people have it but haven't played with it yet, so they're excited to play with it and are inspired by what we showed today. So
we're excited to see what you create with it as well. So be sure and post all of your cards and projects and scrapbook pages and 3D items and whatever it is that you're making. Or maybe you just decide that you're going to put them in a frame on the wall.
Yeah.
Something like that so that you can enjoy Kaitlyn's beautiful artwork. So I'll thank Kaitlyn for joining us today. And I'm kind of looking at comments as well. But share with us your projects so that we can be amazed by your creativity and, of course, Kaitlyn's talent as well. Because Kaitlyn's talent and all of your creativity creates something amazing.
That's the magic. Yeah, that's the magic.
We love that.
Yeah,
all right, everybody. Thank you, Kaitlyn. And thanks, everybody, for joining us. Bye.